If you fail to pay your creditors on time or you have too many credit commitments, you run the risk of having a bad credit record. This means that the cost of borrowing, especially for big items like a car and a house, will be too expensive.
Greetings, my fellow Africans. Welcome back to Inkari It's Time. If you are new here, I'm Kundus, and this channel is all about empowering you to break through the challenges holding you back in South Africa's economy. Today, we're diving into a topic that's on the minds of so many of us: how to build wealth even in a tough economy. I know times are tough, but trust me, you can still build wealth, and I'm going to show you exactly how. In this video, we'll talk about practical strategies, mindset shifts, and actionable steps to create financial security and long-term wealth despite the hurdles our economy presents. If you want to take control of your financial future, keep watching. Understanding the economic landscape. First, let's talk about the landscape we are dealing with here. South Africa has one of the highest unemployment rates in the world, and inflation can sometimes feel like it's eating away at our buying power. But here's the thing: the system doesn't have to hold us back. It's all about how we navigate this landscape, adapt to changes, and look for the right opportunities. Now, many of us grow up hearing about the challenges in the economy: high cost of living, racial inequality, limited access to resources. But wealth is still within our reach. It's not about ignoring these realities, but about using them to fuel our financial strategy and finding creative solutions to break through. Let me show you how. Smart budgeting and financial planning. The first step to building wealth in South Africa or anywhere is getting your financial house in order. And that starts with budgeting. I know it might seem basic, but budgeting is the foundation of wealth.
I want to show you guys on how you can make a simple budget tracker using Google Sheets, so that way you can track your upcoming expenses and income, which I think is pretty useful as a young adult or just to anyone in general. And the one I'll be making is so simple that you could probably just do it yourself in 5 minutes, and I'll show you exactly on how to do it in. So here I am on a new Google Sheets document, and I'm just going to type in 2024 budget tracker, right? And with this, I'm just going to make the title a little bit larger. If you go to the very front and you do Windows key and a dot, you can actually type in an emoji. So I'm just going to put the money sign here just to make it look nice. And next, I'm going to be typing the month that I'm going to be doing this for, which is going to be January. You could always duplicate this sheet. So if you want to make it for February, March, April, whatever, you can always have different sheets here. So you can just rename this to just January. Next up is I'm going to type in the income here, and I'm going to type in expenses here, right? So you obviously have your paycheck, your income, and your expenses that you spend on.
Start by tracking your income and expenses. Identify areas where you can cut costs. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about understanding where your money is going. Use budgeting apps like Moneyfy or Good Budget, or just keep it old school with pen and paper if that works for you. The 50-30-20 rule is a simple guideline that you can follow. 50% of your income goes to needs like rent, groceries, and utilities. 30% goes to wants, entertainment, dining out, etc. 20% goes to savings and debt repayment. Being diligent about budgeting will allow you to redirect funds towards your financial goals, whether that's saving for emergencies, investing, or paying off debt.
What kind of expenses we're spending, whether it's your wants, whether it's your needs, whether it's your savings, or whatever it is that you're going to be categorizing them, which is actually the great thing about this budget tracker. Once this is done, I'm going to go to the right here and I'm going to type in total income, and I'm going to type in total expenses here. Since these are going to be monetary values, I'm just going to select the whole column and I'm going to click format as currency. Same for this one right here, right down the middle. And like I said earlier, I'm going to start categorizing what kind of expenses I'm spending, right? So I'm going to insert here a drop down. I'm going to categorize it very, very generally, but you could also become very specific in what you're spending if you're consistent with your spendings. So here I'm just going to type in needs for option 1, wants for option 2, and savings for option 3. So it's going to be following the 50-30-20 rule, where you kind of spend 50% on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% on savings. Again, you could adjust that accordingly, but that's just how I'm going to do it.
Increasing your income streams. Next up, Let's talk about increasing your income. Relying on a single source of income in South Africa can be risky, especially with the high unemployment rate and the cost of living rising every year. Diversifying your income streams is key. Whether it's starting a side hustle, investing in the stock market, or leveraging your skills in the gig economy, there are so many ways to increase your income in South Africa. Here are some ideas. Freelancing. If you have skills like writing, graphic design, web development, or social media management, freelancing platforms like Upwork or Freelancer are perfect to find clients globally.
The owner of the Light Candles, Makati Chibula, joins other business owners in his excitement of being able to produce candles on time for his store. His business, based in Pimville, Soweto, serves mostly traditional healers and spiritual workers. Chibula recalls the measures he had to take to find an alternative in order to keep the doors open at the height of load shedding.
I'm in the production industry, manufacturing, so once there's no electricity, that means we've lost a whole day of manufacturing. And even if it's just for a couple of hours, I mean, some of our machinery requires the things to be on for a couple of hours to melt the wax. So it was holding us back. I mean, our profits declined heavily because of that. We had to start investing in generators, hiring out generators. But when there was stage 6, when we had stage 6, there was a time where we spent close to 20,000 rand in hiring out a generator.
After failing to secure a job, psychology graduate Chibula found himself working for a candle-making small business before branching out on his own. While it has been liberating, he admits that starting a business was not easy.
It's been tough, you know. I mean, I set up this whole business without any funding. I had to start from scratch. I literally started with 2,000 rand that I had saved up, bought some wax, started making candles in glass jars, and slowly reinvested that money back into the business to us getting here.
Online business. Selling handmade crafts, digital products, or services can generate extra income. Websites like etc or Shopify make it easy to get started. Investing. If you are in a position to do so, start small with investing in stocks, real estate, or even local businesses. You can get started with platforms like Easy Equities, which allow you to invest with as little as 100 rands. Building a strong credit profile. Now, let's talk about credit. In South Africa, having good credit can help you leverage financing for investments, like buying property or starting a business. A strong credit profile means lower interest rates and better financial opportunities. But building good credit isn't about going into debt. It's about being responsible with the credit you have. Here's what you can do. 1. Pay your bills on time. This is key. 2. Keep your credit card balances low. 3. Avoid maxing out your credit cards. 4. Regular check your credit report and correct any inaccuracies.
Different credit bureaus list both the positive and negative information of more than 25 million credit active individuals. Credit bureaus use this information to determine what credit score they should give you. Each credit bureau has its own credit score, which can range from 0 to 100. Your credit score will determine what interest rate credit providers will offer you. Making too many applications for credit at the same time will also affect your credit score. But just what can a consumer do to improve their credit score?
The interest rate which the credit provider is likely to grant you is going to be dependent on the type of score which you manage to score when they ask you the various questions which have to do with your ability to pay, the amount of debt which a loan which you are looking for, how frequent are you paying your debt, are you paying on time, and all those kind of considerations.
Consumers are entitled to access a free credit report once a year from any credit bureau. When you have made late payment or no payment at all, a default will remain on your credit report for a year. Credit providers can also apply for a cost judgment against you, and it will remain on your credit report for 5 years or until you pay in full. But there have been instances where consumers had false information on the credit bureau.
The first instance is you would go to your credit provider and request, documentation or proof that, why have, they've put this record onto your credit profile. So I think that is the first step. If you're not getting any joy from a credit provider, then you come onto the credit bureau where we can assist you with facilitating that investigation.
Your credit score will determine the interest rate you are likely to get from the banks. And if you have a negative listing or judgment against your name, the chances of securing a better interest rate for your home loan or car are slim. Many low-income earners struggle to secure a good credit score from financial institutions. This is primarily because they are regarded as high-risk individuals. Paying off your accounts in full every month and settling your outstanding debt can help improve your credit score.
Latest amendment of the National Credit Act, which was passed this year, seemed to have actually made life much more difficult for the low end of the market, because the perception is that it is because they are, I won't say poor, but let's say the low end of the market, they don't have the ability to service their debt.
Your credit score won't necessarily change when you get married. But if your spouse has a bad credit history, you might be charged a higher interest rate or your application won't be approved.
When you get into a marriage, your scores don't just merge together. What happens is, if you decide to jointly purchase a property or take on a car loan, for instance, that's when your credit scores become important, because your credit provider is going to look at each of your credit reports in order to determine whether you can afford the loan amount, as well as whether you can what is your financial position, basically.
If you are starting with poor credit, don't worry. Focus on improving it gradually. Start by paying off high-interest debt first and building a history of on-time payments. Investing for the future. Let's move to investing. Investing is one of the best ways to build wealth in South Africa or anywhere, but it's also one of the most intimidating concepts for many. The key to wealth building is making your money work for you. Start by learning about different types of investments. Here are some you can start with. 1. Stocks. If you are new to investing, start by researching companies or exchange-traded funds, ETFs. Easy Equities is a great platform for beginner investor. 2. Real estate. If you can afford it, investing in property is a solid long-term strategy. Look for areas that are growing in value or explore options like property crowdfunding. 3. Unit trust and retirement savings. Start a retirement annuity or unit trust to save long-term for your retirement. These investments grow over time and offer tax benefits. The earlier you start investing, the better. Even small investments now can compound into significant wealth over time.
When you look at young people, they're thinking, why talk to me about retirement? This thing is too far. I want my money now.
Someone I spoke to this morning, when I was asking her if she's going to withdraw, she says, what if I die next week?
Focus on personal development and skills. Finally, let's talk about investing in yourself. One of the best ways to improve your financial situation is to develop new skills. The more knowledge you have, the more valuable you become in the job market or as an entrepreneur. Consider online courses, workshops, and self-improvement books. You can even look into free resources like YouTube tutorials, podcasts, and webinars. Skills in tech, business, or marketing are in high demand, and the more you learn, the more opportunities you create for yourself.
there are a number of opportunities that people can look at. I'm talking about simple ideas for business.
Right.
This could be a beauty business. We know beauty business is quite common. As long as you can compete and you've got the skills and you've got some business acumen, because business, you need to understand that there are expenses and you have to be able to separate your personal income from business. So there's a beauty business, there's catering business. You might want to buy catering equipment to start competing for opportunities to do that. You might want to even build a room, look, we know there's a huge demand for accommodation in the townships. And what we see is people actually building a small, I don't want to call it a shack, a key room.
Yeah.
We call it a room. We don't even call it an apartment, it's a room. So you can have that, and then, but at least that can supplement your monthly income, so that others maybe might want to, depending on what your interests are, maybe you are a photographer, go and buy yourself a decent camera that can take good pictures and good quality. And then weddings, you could be the one. One of the things that I think is not spoken much about, are some of the SETAs that are out there to support people, the Cedars of this world. You have the Gauteng Enterprise Propellers of this world. I'm sure there must be clapping hands that are marketing them. But these are entities that have an interest in helping small to medium businesses. So engage those. If you're in agriculture, there's a SETA there. If you are in services, so engage them, and they do provide some courses and to help you understand how to write up a business plan, and also how to navigate the world of getting additional funding for your business.
Some of the people that I also spoke to have talked about furthering their education. If you are not necessarily business minded, not everyone has the patience to run a side hustle or a small business. One could look at furthering their studies. There are short courses that one can do on entrepreneurship and small business development, in fact. And I was also just thinking about in the advent of investments, right? One can look at investing in things like gas, right? With electricity prices going up and Eskom also looking at increasing their tariffs, maybe you could take that and install a gas geyser, a gas stove in your home. Would that be prudent?
No, absolutely. Look, anything that you can do that's going to give you a step up, I think is definitely a good idea. Even if you decide to say, well, I'm not a business person, but I'm simply going to be settling my debts, but make sure you don't go back to Mashonisa, and then try and maintain a good posture when it comes to managing.
Also, remember the importance of networking. Connect with people who inspire you. Share your goals and collaborate to grow together. It's not just about what you know, but who you know. So, there you have it. Building wealth in South Africa, even in a tough economy, is possible. It starts with smart budgeting, increasing your income streams, building good credit, and investing in your future. But most importantly, you need to develop a growth mindset and keep taking consistent action towards your goals. I know the road isn't easy, but with the right strategies, you can navigate the challenges and come out on top. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and share it with someone who needs this advice. And don't forget to comment below. What strategies are you using to build wealth in South Africa? I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Remember, the path to wealth is a journey, not a destination. Keep pushing forward and let's build a future of financial freedom together. Until next time. Thank you for watching and take care. I'm Gondos signing off. See you in the next one.